ensure employee retention. You have a role to play, and I'm going to reveal to you your role by the end of today. And you're going to make me this promise that after this session, you're going to take the 3 steps I'm going to share with you. You're going to implement it immediately. Well, if you are the quietest person in meeting, from today onwards, you call yourself a personnel manager, not a human resources manager. Because you are no more going to be a follower, you are going to be an influencer. So when let me give you an example. When management asks HR to do things that appear to sideline employee welfare, you know what you need to do as HR? HR needs to speak up and convince management to take a balanced approach. You need to ask questions like, Mr. General Manager, could I ask you, what is the impact of this important decision to our workforce? And could we discuss what are the additional steps that we need to take to prepare our workforce for this particular new project that we are working on? I would like to have some conversation on that, please. And let's see how the managers would react to that conversation. You do not just simply take instructions from management for hospital expansion. You take instructions from management for new equipments coming into the hospital. Take instructions about MSQH audits and things like that. But never talk about how are we going to mobilize people together? How are we going to support the team members? Could we talk about engagement activities so that all our employees are fully on board this audit to make sure we do well? Can we have a communication? And let me share with you an email on how we can communicate this effectively to our employees. That is what we need to do as HR. So can you take a look at these 3, my dear friends, and tell me, is it relevant to you? Yes or no? Is it relevant to you? Do you feel this makes sense? Yes or no? Do you feel this makes sense? Do you feel that we have a responsibility as HR leaders to go beyond personnel management and to transform into true HR practitioners? That is your role today, my dear friends. You know, if I work as a HR manager in a company, if I resign, I want people to say, oh my God, you created a whirlwind when you were there, man. And after you left, it's still like a gaping hole. But you also want people to say, wow, you created a whirlwind while you're there. And after you left, we could continue the journey because you already set the system in place in HR. And we are continuing the legacy that you left behind. That's the kind of reputation I would like to have when I leave an organization. So I really hope that while you're still in your organization, dear HR managers, however long that's going to be, whether it's going to be the next 1 year or 2 years or 5 years, please create that reputation for yourself, that you actually took this matter so seriously and made a big difference in your organization. Managers, this is for you. Focus on employee as much as you focus on operations, please. Best to understand that a department runs smoothly when employees are fully engaged in what they are doing. And so you as leaders, you need to turun padang. And we'll talk about the 4C method. Okay, 4C method, share with you. Chat with the employees, coach them, check in on them, and challenge them. You take my suggestion here today, my dear. This is proven, tested, it works. You won't find it anywhere else. We've tried it in our leadership development program. You chat with the employees regularly. You select some people to coach them. You check on the person's progress, and then you challenge it with something bigger. Then you realize when you go on leave, your phone doesn't ring on international roaming. You know why? You focus on the employee. You focus on developing the employee. You're not just running him operationally. The employee is not just a nut in the tire that runs. The employee is the engine that drives the entire car. So speak up when management goes out of line. And I tell you, I'm just quite amazed that when I talk to some organizations, the degree of unethical practices in healthcare is quite scary, my dear friends. Very scary. And if you notice that management is making certain suggestions, meetings that is not good for our patients, not good for our employees, what should we do? When they suggest things that are sidelining employee welfare, call it out and make an objective suggestion. And always balance whatever suggestions that you make, balance it in terms of the financial implications, customer implication, process implication, and not forgetting employees. So you're not only thinking of employee, you're thinking about all aspects. HR people, you also need to look at the impact of your decisions to finance, impact of decision to customer, impact of decision to the process of the organization, and not forgetting the employees themselves. So which means that if somebody is asking for additional headcount and they said, you know what, let's bring more people into the organization. Okay, that's good. And then later you see that they set a certain KPI, they want to bring so many people in a very short time, and then you realize by doing that you're going to bring poor quality people. Then you got to put a stop to that. It says no, we have to interview people carefully. We have to be very cautious. And then if your management make decisions that if the guy don't perform, just ask him to leave, just ask him to leave, ask him to resign, they ask him to do things like that. Cannot. You tell them, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Boss, Mr. Manager, we can't do that. We have to sit down and coach the employee. The employee must demonstrate, we must demonstrate to the employee that we'll do all we can until the employee says they're not willing to do, and on their own they resign. It's a different situation. We cannot go to an employee and ask them to resign. We have to also take care of their welfare as well. So you need to be quick to speak up in management meetings. But you know what I notice? I go to certain management meetings when the GM is there, when the CEO is there, or the big bosses are there. Suddenly the department heads are all turned into pussycat, I don't understand why. Suddenly they all go quiet. And let me tell you something. When you go quiet in a management meeting, for every 10 minutes, your reputation level is going down by 2%. 2%, going down. You are killing your reputation when you sit quietly in meeting without saying anything. Your boss is not thinking highly about you. Let me tell you this, department heads. And even better, if you agree for something that is good, well done. But if you disagree for something is bad, you would be highly respected by your management, but maybe not by your department heads to say, wow, so silly this guy, he disagreed with the bosses. I realized in my time, 11 years I was hospitality industry. Every time I sat in a meeting, I agreed for what is good and I disagreed for what is not good. And my boss, when he left, he told me, that's one thing I love about you. You are very objective. You don't simply agree because I'm the boss. You agree because you know it's good. You disagree because you know it's important for you to disagree. And you always come up with another objective suggestion. So it's very critical. If you want your eagles to stay in your organization, they need to know their department head, memang is not a pussycat. It is memang a tiger. Tiger not is rough or screaming at people. A tiger is brave. He's brave. He can stand up for what is right. That qualifies the salary that you're earning. That qualifies the position that you're holding. If not, you cannot call yourself a department head, my dear friends. You're basically an overpaid executive. To you right now, three steps. This is what 3 steps to prevent healthcare high performers from leaving. Let me reveal it to you. We call it the SED. It's called select and engage and develop. Okay, just follow these 3 steps. Just follow these 3 steps. Now, you take my word for it. You practice this conscientiously. You will see your retention level improve in a very big way, my dear friends. So there you go, my dear friends. In conclusion, I just want to stress with you today that the problems that we're having in our employees, in our workplace today is because HR and department heads are not fully playing their role. And if we completely play our role, taking into consideration our internal factors and our external factors, and dealing with the gap when it comes to employee welfare, and doing the SED in the process, plus the 3 actions that we shared with you earlier just now, I can promise you that your eagles have no reason to leave to another organization unless there's a good reason for them to go. I truly hope that through this learning that you've got, you would have seen how you can take your organization to the next level moving forward.
Don't miss this valuable opportunity to enhance your skills and make a lasting impact in your role. Contact us today to join or learn more about these programs.